All right, guys. Hello, hello, hello. I was a little late to the party. I guess it opened a few minutes ago, but it is out. The Canadian men's national team World Cup qualifying roster is out. I just got ready. I thought it was gonna go closer to the 2 o'clock mark. Obviously, I should have expected to be out a little bit earlier, but it is out, and I'm gonna be very curious to see who's on this roster. I just starting, so even before I look at it, because I still have not looked at it yet, I'm gonna say hello to everyone who's in the chat quickly before we break down this roster. I am a little curious to see what it's gonna look like, just because there's a lot of question marks, especially around English players playing in England, as well as Kyle Larin, and I don't know. I'm just really excited. I'm excited to get back into the Canadian men's national team content for the World Cup qualifiers. So I'm just gonna put that's a comment up here, and I might as well just look at it because I'm dying to. So let's do this, guys. Hope you guys are doing good. If you're excited for Canada releasing their World Cup squad, be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and let me know your thoughts and opinions on it, as I'm just gonna dive right in, going through the names. Samuel Adekubi's in there. No real big surprise. Might as well just retweet this while I'm at it. Milan Borjan's in there, which is very interesting. There was a lot of rumors around him not being in there, so seeing him in there, that's pretty good. ZBG is back, which I expected. Brim is in there, Buchanan's in there, Cavallini's in there, which is very, very curious, and it is Derek Cornelius. What do you guys think about that, man? Derek Cornelius makes his big return after playing over in Greece this season. Left-sided, obviously replacement for Kennedy, who went down with an injury, which is a huge shame. He'll be battling with Miller, in my assumption that Miller is in here, and I do see him. Crepeau's in there, Jonathan David's in there, Alphonso Davies in there, Stephanie Stachio's in there, Liam Fraser coming off champions with the Crews in there as well. Daniel Henry, Junior Hoylett, Hutch is in there. All right, Atiba Hutchinson's in there. That's a bright spot. Obviously, his minutes will be very, very restricted, but it's good to see. Aleister Johnson, Mark Anthony Kay, Kyle Larin, Richie Larea. Both Millers are in there, both Liam and Kamal Miller, which is good to see. Liam Miller's having a pretty solid season with Basel, so I'm pretty excited to see him in there. And I'll touch on why wingers are going to be important. And my boy Schaffelberg's in there as well, and that's perfect. The TFC lads gets the nod. And again, I'll explain why the wingers, I think, are going to be more important this window than ever, with Jonathan Osorio, James Pantemis, Samuel Piette, Stephen Vittoria, and David Wotherspoon rounding it out, guys. A lot of I don't know. I'm pretty happy with that. I don't know about you guys, man. Give me a rating from 1 to 10. How satisfied are you with that World Cup squad? I haven't counted how many is in there. Does someone know off the top of their head how many names are actually on that list? But let's get in the comments, see what you guys have to say. Kelly was here. He was excited. Said he took the words right out of my mouth. Can't wait for the roster drop. Larin and Atiba are injured, so I'm assuming this was before. So Kyle Larin and Atiba are both in there, which is interesting. Again, both of them, in my opinion, is going to be very restricted in the terms that they play. But it is good to see them both made it. Glad Herman increased the size of the squad. It's a 27-man squad. Yeah, that is good. That's what I expected. There was a lot of debate around the U.S. men's national team squad as I believe they took 27 as well, but a lot of people didn't really like that. Wanted them to take more, just because they had a lot more players who were restricted when going to the countries where the players from England were not eligible to play. Bruno Corbiano, and it's a head scratcher for me. I thought Brim was poor. Yeah, he's the one big name. Brim was the one that surprised me a little bit. Now, I don't know if anyone would be willing to travel across the world from Russia. I don't know. But yeah, that was a bit of a head scratcher. That was the one name on there that I'm a little iffy with, but. Yeah, Scott Arfield's another big one who was not on there. November home games will be Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton. Schaffelberg on the hot form, so deserves a call-up. Yes, and I'm going to touch on that right now, guys. So, in my opinion, when we look at the squad right now, the formations that we are known to play is the 3-5-2, sometimes the 4-4-2, and lately the 3-4-3. And I personally think this window is going to be screaming for a 3-4-3. The reason I say that is because yes, Jonathan David's there. Play him as much as he possibly can. Larin, however, there's the injury bug that has riddled him, so we don't know exactly how fit he will be. And hopefully maybe he can pick up for minutes when David gets a rest. I'm expecting David to play at least 2 games. And then there's Cavallini, who's also injured and in terrible form. For him, who I don't really trust that much. So in my opinion, it screams a 3-4-3, especially saying that you brought Jack Schaffelberg back in along with Liam Miller. This gives you the opportunity to add a little bit more to our wing play. I'd play Davies a little further up the pitch, have Davies playing as a winger with Buchanan. You have Miller there, you have Schaffelberg there. Junior Hoylett can play there when he's available. So we really look like we out of nowhere got some wingers who could step up and really scream for that 3-4-3. On top of that, Samuel Adekubi is having a great season over in the Turkish league, and I expect him to probably compete for that starting role at the left wing back, which will allow Davies then to push a little bit further up the pitch. Everything looks solid. Just don't understand Prem over the guys like everyone you said on there. I mean, Corbiano hasn't been playing at all. I'm not sure what his situation is developing at Sheffield Wednesday, but I understand why Corbiano was not in there because of the minutes that just simply were not there. Akindele, I'm not the biggest fan of. I mean, he come in there and maybe do a job if he's really needed, but I hope it comes to a situation where, I mean, more than likely Brim's not going to play. That's just, in my opinion, how simple it's going to be. But that is the one name on there who I have an issue with. But yeah, looking at it, man, I'm pretty happy with everything. A little bit surprised that Borjan was indeed included, as well as Hutch. There was question marks around him. Cavallini, I kind of expect him to be there, but I don't know exactly what he will be like when we actually get going here. Canada should sign Timo Werner. Who says games are in Edmonton in November? Someone in the chat did earlier. What's up, my man? How you feeling, my man? How are you feeling with this roster drop today? What's up, Josh? Watching from Virginia. Cheers, my friend. Hope you're doing well today. We have to draw Mexico at least. Going to the Azteca and getting a draw would be incredible, but I mean that's a tough ask. Now, if we can pull it off, that would definitely go a long way. But I'm not expecting that. I would like to shoot for that 5 to 6 point range if possible. Getting the 2 wins besides the win in Mexico and get in the Azteca is probably a little bit more realistic. Going for those 6 points. Can't complain about this lineup. We got everyone that was available. I agree. We got a 9 rating for that, and I would go with that as well. I mean, like I said, I know that there's some question marks around Brim, but I mean, is it that big a deal? It could have been Akindele. I don't know how much more of an influencer he would have been if he was in this lineup regardless, but I'm excited. Schaffelberg's one that really excites me. I'm glad to see Miller's back because I think he's been doing some really good things over in Switzerland, playing in the Europa Conference League. I believe it's the Conference League. Yes, it's the Conference League. And it's exciting seeing that his form is getting rewarded here. And like I said, with the questionable striker options we have, the injuries surrounding them, the quality of some of them, like I said, this is screaming 3-4-3. But let me know what you guys think of the formation and what you expect. But like I'll put together a quick team right now, and even some options that go along with that. But in goal, depending if Borjan is available or what the cards are on there. I mean, you know it's going to be him or it's going to be Crepeau, no surprise. Right wing back, we got Richie Larea. Right center back, right outside center back would be Aleister Johnson. Central center back, take your pick, Vittoria or Henry. Outside left center back now is going to be Kamal Miller, and it's obviously his position to lose. But you do have now Cornelius there to put a little bit of pressure on him. The left wing back will then go to Adekubi. The 2 center mids, where it gets interesting because, I mean, Hutch, when available, will play alongside Eustachio, but if Hutch obviously isn't going to play all 3, then you look around, and I'd probably go with Mark-Anthony Kaye alongside Eustachio. Then you push a little further up the pitch, and you have Buchanan on the right, you have Davies on the left, and you have David through the middle. And like I said, if Laren is available, Hoylett's available, and you can always play there through the striker role, and then put Schaffelberg or Miller. Every once in a while, you can also put Buchanan, if you wanted to right wing back. You can put Davies to left wing back. And having those extra options up front. So I really like this starting 11, and I don't see a way we don't go with a 1-striker formation, and it's going to be the 3-4-3 in my eyes. Another big note is that Arfield is not in here. It is not in here. So, yeah, and a lot of people thought that this might be the window that he comes back in. Obviously, it's not. I think that the writing's a little bit more on the wall that he isn't going to be coming back. Does top 3 qualify for the World Cup? Yes, top 3 automatically qualify with the fourth round, or the fourth place team going into the interconfederational playoff, which obviously we'd like to try to avoid. Wouldn't be surprised if Atiba and Larin only play in Toronto. I expect the same. And it'd be nice because more than likely, if we do go with the 3-4-3 and you get Atiba in that one game, then like I said, you play K the other two. You get Larin up there for the game in Toronto, and then you allow David to play the other two games. And then, like I said, you got depth now in the wing position, which we didn't usually have. And because we have such versatility in Buchanan and Davies, they can drop down to wing back. You can throw in Miller. I'd like to see Schaffelberg get in there, man. I really would, because I've been watching his form in what was a very miserable TFC season. You guys got to admit, he's been a pretty good bright spot. So I really like it. I'm really excited to see how these guys get in there. Why were you a bit surprised that Borjan is in there? There was a lot of rumors that he wasn't going to be available. And I honestly, I would have went in saying 60-40. He wasn't there. Obviously, they were misled. They were allowed to bring a bigger squad. So the fact that they brought him but didn't bring a fourth keeper is also pretty interesting. But I mean, Crepeau, we know what he's capable of. So, but yeah, it was just some things going around in the news that basically said that Borjan, there's a good chance he wasn't going, but they were obviously wrong. 8. Theo has started getting played more recently. I don't think he's played. I don't think he's played relatively recently. I'll go back to his. I'll pull him up here just to get a little look at him, because I know he got a start not that long ago, but I just want to find Corbeanu because he wasn't even on the bench, I don't think, the last couple of games. And I don't know if that was injury related or what exactly was the reason for it, but he just hasn't seemed to be available for the team this season, which again, when it comes to international football, you need to play. You absolutely do. But let's go check him out. I'm going to Sheffield Wednesday right now. I'm going to take a look at Corbeanu and see how much minutes he's been put in, because unless I was misunderstood, I don't think he's had a bunch, but League One this year. So, I mean, he's only played 3 matches all season, and he hasn't started a single game. It looks like he did play about 29 minutes on September 18th, 32 minutes on the 11th, and 24 minutes on August 28th. So that is not a lot of minutes. It's basically equivalent to a game. And that's probably, in my opinion, that's probably why he was left out, is just because of a big lack of minutes. But yeah, I don't know. Do you think we'll see Schaffelberg at the left wing back role or more up the field? I'd expect him more up the field. Just because, again, he comes in with a lot of pace. He's fresh to the Canadian men's national team. I think he'd be more comfortable playing up the pitch. And I think, again, you could drop Davies back there. You still have Adekubi. I would expect Schaffelberg coming in as depth because Herbin's looking to play that 3-4-3. That's my opinion. It doesn't mean it's right, but I'm really enjoying the wing depth because I did like seeing them play in this 3-4-3, and the back three is obviously what suits this team because of the wing backs, because of the versatility, and now having wingers further up the pitch and being able to toss a handful of them all over the park. It's pretty cool, man. It's pretty cool to see, and Schaffelberg's been one who plays for Toronto, so it's pretty cool to see him get in there. A Witherspoon start, could we see it? How many of you guys want to see that? Because I would love it. Every time Witherspoon has played for Canada, I think that he's been pretty influential. He's a creative player, plays at a competitive level, plays very consistently in the Scottish League. So I would not be against him starting beside Eustachio at all. He, in my opinion, is obviously a little bit more attacking, more towards that number 10 role rather than like an 8. But either way, I would be for it in some way, shape, or form to see him get in there. But yes, I'm sure all of you guys saw the devastating news, us Canadians holding out for dear life that Tomori would one day represent the Canucks, and we were wrong. Tomori did get brought up for the England team, and if he plays a minute, it's done. But I mean, watch him play 3 minutes against Andorra, and that's how he's capped. Or watch him don't get played, and then it's still open. But from the way that this has been playing out, because it's been very quiet for a long time, a lot of you guys have just been telling me, what are the chances, and if is there even a chance? And it doesn't seem like Tomori was that interested. There was no real story around it, and the fact that he took this call up and will more than likely get a single minute over these 3 games, especially because he's on good form and he's playing for Milan, and I'm assuming the dream is over. But it did seem like a big news for us, guys. It really did, because he could have just been a game changer. It would have been such a story coming back in November 2022. But like I said, more than likely it's done. But yeah, Canada plays this Thursday, October 7th. We'll do watch-alongs for all 3 games, guys. Mexico, Canada, Jamaica, Canada, and Canada, Panama. So it should be pretty fun going the Thursday, Sunday, and Wednesday. And like I said, I'm expecting hopefully 6 points. I don't think going to the Azteca in Mexico, we should sit here saying we need to take a point. We need to take 3. Ideally, we take anything. We walk away just being like, that's fantastic. And then we got to have 2 other tough tasks. I mean, Jamaica, who knows what they're going to put out there. They've had a really poor campaign so far. And Panama's been the surprise package. So nothing should be taken for granted. My goal is hopefully 5 to 6 points. And I think I'd be really happy with that. But let me know what you guys think. How many points are you guys, I guess, hoping for or expecting this window? Because with Mexico in there, obviously, it makes it a little bit more interesting. But I'm going to say between that 5 and 6 point mark, I'd be really, really happy with. The big El Salvador fan turnaround at the last Canada home game was disappointing. It was. A couple people who are viewers here went to the game and reached out to me and said it was an incredible atmosphere. It was amazing seeing everyone get behind this team. But the one negative about it was the fact that there were so many El Salvador fans there. And I thought that was a really surprising thing to hear. But yeah, I agree. It's a little disappointing. Not sure how they got all the tickets, but regardless, man, that 18 felt like last week. I stand corrected. No, it's all good. I mean, I would keep an eye on Corbianu because, like I said, he was someone who looked to be a shoo-in for this Canadian men's national team. Looked like a real baller. It was cool when we got him from Romania, and he obviously committed to the Canadian men's national team. He got that move. There's a lot of, I guess, hype around him potentially going somewhere and getting a lot of minutes. He ended up going to Sheffield Wednesday, and Darren Moore just has not treated him overly well. So I don't know what's going on there, but the fact that it's October 1st today, and he hasn't started a game, but he's played in 3 different matches, a total of about 90 minutes, is not good enough. And I don't blame John Herman for not bringing up Corbiano for that reason. When it comes to the national team, we have options now. Schaffelberg's a perfect example. Yes, he plays for the MLS, which arguably MLS, League One in England, I mean, it's, in my opinion, it's pretty similar. And Schaffelberg's playing, and he's playing fantastic. He deserves his call-up, and I'm very, very happy for the kid. Looking at Ticketmaster, still not a sellout game. Come on, I'd kill to be there if I didn't live far away. I know, and I'm trying to debate what to do, because I want to go to a game live, but I love doing the watch-alongs. And I don't know. I might go to the Toronto FC Pacific game on November the 3rd. So if any of you guys are in the area, maybe producer T and I will come to that and do something fun with that. But I don't know. The watch-alongs I really enjoy doing with you guys, and I don't know. I feel like I'd miss out, but I haven't decided yet. Happy to see Liam Miller back in the fold. I am too, James. I am too. Getting a move over to Switzerland, to Basel, is a cool move, man. They're a team that, if you guys remember, not that long ago, took on Chelsea in the Europa League in the semifinals. They had a really good run. They're a team that is always in Europe. They compete in their league. It's a good move for him. And the fact that he didn't break in right away, but finally started to be contributing with some goals, some assists, and now he looks to be a bit of a starter, wiggling his way. Because they play in a 4-2-3-1. He's playing over on that left-hand side, the left attacking mid. And it's pretty exciting to see him back in the fold. And like I said, I personally think the 3-4-3 is the way to go forward. And with the depth now we're getting in the winger position, it allows so much flexibility for Herdman to tamper his lineup a little bit, to utilize Davies potentially as a winger, as a wingback, same as Buchanan, even Larea flying on the left-hand side, the right-hand side. So I'm really liking the setup. Just with this window, depending on what happens with Kyle Larin, I am a little bit nervous with the striker position, because I doubt David's going to start all 3. Same was kind of hoping Toronto show up. I feel ya. Glad Liam Miller made it. A lot of Miller hype around here, and I'm digging it, man. I'm digging it. And he deserves it. Like I said, he absolutely deserves this spot. It's not easy. And Corbiano and Miller had the exact same situation this season, in a way. Miller went over to Basel in the Swiss League, and Corbiano went over to Sheffield Wednesday. Brand new start, an opportunity to make an impact. Both of them started on the bench, and unfortunately for Corbeano, he's stayed there, sometimes not even making the game day squad, and like I said, playing 90 minutes. Miller is breaking in and becoming a starter, playing in Europe, and it's just been two different paths right now, and Miller's the one who obviously got brought back into the fold due to his club success, and we got to be really happy for him. Andrew says for the point total that they're targeting for this window, 4 would be acceptable, but 5, 6 ideally, and I think that's fair. If we got a win over one of Panama or Jamaica and then got a point off the other and then we lost to Mexico, I don't think that's a fail. I'm hoping that this team can do some damage though, and I mean to compete and to go for those top 3 spots, it'd be nice to take 6. Like again, it's hard to take points for granted, but I don't want, looking past that Mexico game, if we can win against Jamaica and Panama, that is a statement claim that we picked up 6 or potentially 7 out of 9, which might be a little unrealistic. But yeah, I mean, anywhere between 4 and 6 is probably acceptable, and we're gonna have to see how Panama and Jamaica do. As in England needs to start for us, he is very underrated here. If he's injury free, I'll take him to Qatar, in my opinion. Fair. Mexico has 100% strength squad this window. Stronger than the Gold Cup squad. Yeah, if you guys saw Mexico's team, the 2 big names, Raul Jimenez and Chucky Lozano, are back in. Not good. Not good. I mean, we had a really, really good outing against them. And remember, when we lost 2-1, and I think we got ripped off in the Gold Cup, their squad was closer to an A squad than ours was. And our team's now obviously way different, adding the likes of Davies and David in there, and hopefully maybe Larin if we can see him. But saying that Mexico's missing their two date, like I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's hard to debate because Mexico did have a solid round squad, but they were missing their 2 star pupils, which is Jimenez and Chucky Lozano. But I guess we are too. So, but it is an excellent point, Nathan, that Mexico is at full strength, and I am a little bit nervous to see what Jimenez can do in there with Chucky Lozano, but. Regardless, it should be fun. I don't understand why Cavallini still gets called up. I would rather have called up Campbell. Ooh, bold claim. I mean, he's doing very, very good for Pacific. I can't knock you on that. I get your point with Cavallini. I mean, he, in my opinion, has almost flopped. I mean, if there's any Whitecap fans out there, let me know if you disagree. When he went to Vancouver, I was really excited. I mean, playing for the Canadian men's national team, coming back to Canada, playing for Vancouver, and he's just been so disappointing. But he has always still, in my opinion, produced for the Canadian men's national team, and I think that is why Herdman always goes to him. He always figures out a way to put the ball in the back of the net and can be a useful option. But in my opinion right now, with his form and in the injury problems, I don't understand why he's in here. I thought that was a big surprise, but I mean, if you look down the list, I mean, Akindele is the other one that comes to mind, and I personally, with everyone being healthy, I don't think Akindele comes near the squad anymore. Akinola, obviously out long term. So, I mean, maybe there is a little bit of concern within that striker position. There was rumors that Daniel Jebsen could get the romantic call-up if with all the situations he had through the middle, and he scored his first goal in Ligue 1. I said Ligue 1. So, yeah, but unfortunately that wasn't the case, and maybe one day. To be fair, I wouldn't be calling Theo even if he was starting. Ligue 1 games aren't good enough, in my opinion. It's not even second-tier football. Fair point. It's a fair point. It really is. Like, I mean, it's in England, and as people know, England leagues are rated very highly. But I think there is a big gap between League One and the Championship because I mean, obviously, like Hoylett's playing in the Championship and has played in the Championship for the majority of his career. There are some really good options that play for the U.S. men's national team that can play for other teams in the CONCACAF that come from the Championship. But I do believe that. I mean, I think Corbeano, if he was starting and was doing well, I think he really would have had a good opportunity, but he just unfortunately wasn't able to take it. Disappointed Scott Kenny won't be there for the Mexico game. I am too, but I mean, in my opinion, Scott Kenny did not have a good last window. Kamal Miller has been stepping up. I don't think he had the best window, to be honest, either, but Kamal Miller, in my eyes, arguably is just edging out Kennedy before this window, and now that Kennedy's not there, like I said, it's Kamal Miller's to play and to lose, and I'm going to be very interested to see where Derek Cornelius is utilized. I'd assume, and let me know what you guys think of where he'd be utilized in that back 3. I'm assuming because we have Henry and Vittoria through the middle, and being a lefty, Cornelius isn't going out on the right-hand side, so Aleister Johnson, again, will probably play all 3 games. But But with Cornelius, it looks like he's going to be competing with Kamal Miller for the outside left-hand spot. And with Miller's speed, I prefer Miller starting, honestly, all three. I'd be very wary to see how Cornelius comes in with an impact going into a back three on the outside left. Jamaica's squad has one CDM, that is all. And that's been their issue. They play in a 4-4-2 with one CDM. They've had Michael Hector playing up there, who by trade is a center back. He goes up there and can play as a CDM. He does do it for Fulham every once in a while. But they're a really unbalanced team with no chemistry, and I think it's why they've struggled so much. But yeah, they have an interesting squad. I'm very curious to see how the Canadians can line up against them, and if we can stack and win that midfield battle, I think that we put them on some pressure. Cavallini had interest from some top teams in Liga MX. I think that he should have gone there. There was also rumors that he was going to go to La Liga. I don't know how legitimate those were, but there were rumors that he was going to go to La Liga. I was all for it. Get him a new fresh start. See if he can make something of himself. Nothing ever materialized. He still couldn't find form for the Caps, and I don't know what his future has in store for him. Nice to see Liam Miller. That's been the number one thing I've heard. And you know what, guys? I agree. Every single one of you guys have basically said it's nice to see Liam Miller here, and I think he's been the fan favorite of this stream. But if you guys are just tuning in with us today, be sure to drop a like on the stream, drop a sub if you guys are new, and let me know what you guys think of the Canadian men's national team World Cup roster that was just been dropped. Because the consensus is that it's really exciting to see Miller. But I want to know what you guys think about Cornelius. He's the one that comes to mind for me. Obviously, getting put out in the wilderness, didn't know what his future had with the Canadian men's national team. He's back. Give me an odd over. Does he play in a game? Does he play in two? Does he start? I'm torn, man. I'm torn because with Aleister Johnson, in my opinion, playing all three, because there's literally no other option. I know that Henry and Vittoria will rotate. I kind of expect Cornelius to probably get a start. But it's like, what does Herdman do? Does he start him in the game that he thinks that we'll have the toughest time with, Mexico? Does he start him in the game he thinks we might have the easiest time with, which I'd arguably say is Jamaica? I don't know, man. I do not know. The Mexico game is going to be hype. I can't wait. I can't wait too, man. I'm a little nervous, man. Going to the Azteca, taking on this Mexican team. Our last game with them was a real nail-biter, but it's not easy going to Mexico, man. It really isn't. And I'm excited to see how they do there. Really get the CONCACAF feel of going down in that atmosphere. But I am excited for the match nonetheless. Is Davies back? He is, my man. He absolutely is. League One better than Canadian Premier League. And that's probably fair. What's up, Josh? Not much. OC, how you doing? I think Cavallini should go to the second division. Yeah, he could go to a second division side. I think he needs a move regardless. I just don't think it's worked for him in Vancouver. I think Whitecaps fans would absolutely agree with that. I can't tell you exactly where his best destination would be, but I think he needs to move on and hopefully find some form somewhere, because he can be a good and a lethal goal scorer when he's on that form and on that chemistry with his different players he plays with. Yeah, but there are no players from the CPL on this roster, so saying it's better than League One is irrelevant. Yep. By the way, Josh, Pacific FC, Toronto FC, my Canadian team versus your Canadian team. I know. I'm going to actually try to maybe go to that game. It's on November 3rd, I believe, and I'm going to try to go to it. I think it'd be fun because I do the watch-alongs for a Canadian men's national team, so I don't get to go to a lot of the games I'd want to, so I think that'd be a fun one to go to. Yo, are you from Mississauga? Because I am from Oakville. I am not. I'm closer to London, Ontario, my man. Closer that way, so like almost 2 hours away. Doubt Cornelius plays, but I'm glad he's an option. Brady, you don't think he's going to play at all, eh? I don't know, because the only reason I think that there's a chance that he plays is obviously just with the back three rotation. Now, like I said, Aleister Johnson, there's zero replacement for. You cannot replace what he brings to the back three. He has to start in that outside right center back. I said that before the last window. He started every single match. I'm saying it this time, and I have a strong feeling he'll probably start every single match. We know the middle of the back three will rotate between Henry and Vittoria. And I don't know if they're going to put that many minutes on Kamal Miller to play all three. I expect him at the very least to play two. And that's where I think Cornelius, if he comes on, if he comes on late in the game, if we're winning, maybe. But if he gets a start, it'll be because Herdman wants to rest Kamal Miller. But in my eyes, I'd honestly prefer Miller to start all three. But I wouldn't be surprised if Cornelius does get a start. Jamaica has top attackers in the Prem in front of a USL midfield. That is, yeah, a very top heavy. It is a dunk. That's kind of what it looks like. And on top of that, they play in a very awkward system. Like, I know that they play in the 4-4-2 with basically 5 attackers. They have an attacking midfielder who does 0 defensive work in their midfield, two right and left midfielders who like to go up, and then 2 strikers. They really have an unbalanced team, and it's why a team that looked to have so much height with Michel Antonio and all these guys struggled so much. And I think in this, like, in my opinion, if we're getting a win, it should come from that Jamaica game, the draw from the Panama, and then a loss from Mexico. But hopefully that loss will turn into a draw, and hopefully that draw against Panama can turn into a win. Azteca will be tough. It absolutely will be, man. Absolutely will be. From John Herdman, there's a chance that Laren, Hutch, Borjan may see some time during this 10-day window. And that's very interesting. Because, again, big question marks on those 3 before. And that's why, again, I said that the 3-4-3 screams that's what we're going to play. A 1-striker formation, and we are going to play with wingbacks. So there's only really one to play. It's the 3-4-3. But, yeah, like I don't know. Because if Laren only plays 1, that's going to allow David to rest. You're going to start Jonathan David for 2 of the 3 games, and maybe he comes on in that 3rd game so he plays in all 3. Laren, if he can, starts one of the games to give David that rest. And then you have now depth in the wings, where I said you can have Buchanan and you can have Davies, depending if you want to move them down to the wingback roles. You can have Miller in there, you can have Schaffelberg in there, depending if Hoylett wants to play it on the wings, he can. He lacks pace, I get that, but he can. And then, yeah, and he can get really creative and find a way to utilize a lot of these players. But I don't know. I personally don't see a way that we play in a 2-striker formation this window. I wouldn't be for it, because I don't really want to see Brim touch the pitch, if I'm being completely honest. Honestly, I don't know what Cavallini's mindset's at right now, and what his fitness levels are at least to start a game, which I doubt. But let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think we'll start in a 2-striker formation, or do you think that we will stick with that one striker formation through these windows? The atmosphere there is going to be tough. It is, but I think that there's something to take away from that Gold Cup match. We competed. We showed what we were capable of. We're showing that we can compete with them. We have our best talents back. They have theirs, and hopefully it'll just be a really good, entertaining match. And Mexico hasn't looked overly incredible either. So the opportunity that we can snip something from them is there if Mexico don't play up to their A game. I've still got some time right up until Panama. They're not healthy at the moment and still in their own return to play plans. Yeah, and that sounds about right. Cornelius is better than Henry. So you'd potentially look to start Cornelius in the back 3 with Miller on the left, Cornelius through the middle, and then Aleister Johnson on the right, because I do agree that's probably where he would be at his best. I don't see Herdman starting Cornelius in the middle of the back 3. I feel like Henry's going to get a game or 2, and Victoria's going to get a game or 2. That's my opinion, but I do agree that Cornelius' best position would be in the back 3. They aren't the top attackers in the Premier League. Josh Sargent got snubbed from the U.S. men's national team, which, I think is expected. I've had my ongoing bet with Josh Sargent having a poor season, and I feel like I'm right along that. Canada needs one in the Premier League. Yeah, and I'm honestly a little surprised we haven't had one in the Premier League, to be honest. I'm not sure. I'm assuming Jonathan David is probably the favorite right now when he moves on from Lille to find a space and a spot in the Prem, but we'll have to see. Lille's starting to maybe look like they're turning a bit of a corner. They got a good match at the weekend against Marseille. I'm excited to watch that one. Watching my boy Jonathan each and every match. And it did not look like the start of the season it was going to be miserable. But it looks like they're starting to slowly turn a corner, and it's good to see. Just excited to see Buchanan back. I am too, man. I am too. I hope you guys get a draw. It'd be incredible. Like I said, 5-6 is probably the goal. Hopefully getting the win over Jamaica, taking something from Panama, and if we get lucky, something from Mexico. But we could also potentially get two wins in there. But it is going to be tough. Like I said, Panama has a surprise package so far and have played some really good football. Jamaica has been a disaster, and hopefully they stay that way for us. And Mexico, it's at the Azteca. We've never once gone to the Azteca and think we'll get anything from this match. This is probably the first time since I've been alive, I'm looking at it being like, could you imagine? Could you imagine? Maybe there's a possibility we take something. Kelly is tuned in and says, I like this crew. It's important to include players like Brim, maybe not Brim himself, but to bring along depth. Yeah, I think Brim's the one who stands out to everyone. He's the one name on this list that I was genuinely surprised. He wasn't even really, when I was coming up with the predicted one on my 25 to 28 man squad, he wasn't in there. He wasn't. But it makes sense, but it doesn't. I would have honestly thought it would have been a team similar to this with Akindelli over Brim, but it's what it is. He's probably not going to get very many play time anyways. So, yeah. David comes in with a little bit of knowledge, and we appreciate that. David Borjan, yeah. And we'll see what he's like going in. I mean, I feel comfortable with Crépeau. Having Borjan being our leader, being our captain, it'd be nice. But him, if he's not available, I'm not incredibly nervous because I do personally rate Crépeau, and I do think he could do a job. I'm getting annoyed with all the U.S. men's national team. Yeah. Well, I'm going in there. But who's a better winger, Miller or Buchanan? I rate Buchanan a little higher than Miller, but I do think Miller is coming into his own. And like I said, him and Corbeano had two big opportunities this year to make us and to go into a new league and into a new team, which isn't easy, and stake a claim. And unfortunately for Corbeano, he's failed to do that. Miller has not. Miller is breaking into that team. He's playing at a competitive level, playing European football. But I still think Buchanan just brings something different. He's got a swagger to his game. He's got that creativity. He's a good finisher. He's got lightning speed. And let me know who you guys rate more, Miller or Buchanan. For me, it is Buchanan, but I am really glad to see Miller back in the fold, and I hope his league form continues, and hopefully he can kind of do what Corbeano has been doing for us. Because Corbeano, remember guys, has come on off the bench, made an impact, scored some goals. I think Miller can kind of take over where Corbeano was, and it's a shame because Corbeano did so well to break into this fold, and it looks like he's the man on the outside looking in right now. Sure, have had strikers in the Premier League. I think Kelly, you saying now, like he wants to see a Canadian in the Premier League now. I'm assuming. I'm not really sure. Heard coach Herdman confirms that Junior Hoilett will be unavailable for the Mexico game. Yep, and that was expected. And that's why I'm assuming in the Mexico game, we'll see a 3-4-3. This is what I'm expecting for the Azteca. And correct me, and let me know if you guys agree or not. Like I said, I'm going with my gut. I'm assuming it's going to be a 3-4-3. In goal, whether it's Borjan or Crépeau, we'll have to wait and see. Right wing back, I believe it will be Richie Larea. Johnston, the Victoria, Kamal Miller, Atakubi. And in the middle of the park is where it gets interesting. I kind of have a feeling it'll be Eustachio and Mark-Anthony Kaye. And then Buchanan on the right, Davies on the left, and David. That's the 3-4-3 system I'm kind of looking for the Azteca match. He never played for the Canadian men's national team on paper or by resume, but he was the heart of the squad for years. Sorry about Tomori. He will be locked. For me, Buchanan is better at the moment on form. I agree with that. I don't think that's a big debate. I think most of everyone in this chat would probably agree that Buchanan is a little bit further ahead of Miller, but Miller does have a big ceiling on him, and we'll have to see how he does. But yeah, I mean, Tomori broke our hearts. Everyone held up a little bit of love, but he's producing and he's doing well in Serie A for AC Milan, and he should have been in this English squad for a little while now, and now that he's looking to come back, it's going to end it all. And if he gets capped, we don't have to have this hanging over our heads anymore. Buchanan might have Europa League football with Club Brugge. Yeah, guys. Yeah, and I came on the channel and said, like, it's a shame that Buchanan won't have, because I just really didn't think that Club Brugge was going to take points from Leipzig, but forgot Jesse Marsch is flopping right now, so it's looking like Club Brugge, if they can get even a result against one of the big two, or even another result against Leipzig, that they will get Europa League football, and in comes Tejan Buchanan. So, yeah, no love lost, because, I mean, Leipzig's the U.S. men's national team, basically. So, let's watch them crash and burn, and let's see Club Brugge step up and see our boy Buchanan get a little bit of European football come January. I agreed on Buchanan, because the third place UEFA Champions League and the second place UEFA Europa League teams go to the playoff format. Yes, they do. The first two in the Europa League and then the third place teams in the Champions League will all meet up for the round of 32. Jonathan David to Liverpool might happen. It could. I wouldn't hold my breath on it. I don't know why I thought that. I mean, maybe. I mean, he is still producing, which is good to see, but I don't know. I kind of feel like maybe like a team. I don't know. I don't know if Liverpool will get him. I hope so. That'd be a dream to see him go that way. But I was thinking maybe like a team like Leeds, maybe Wolverhampton, for example. But I do think he has his eyes one day set on the Prem. Canucks Hub is here. Canucks Hub, how did you feel about our squad going into the World Cup qualifiers? Having November games in Edmonton will make it difficult for our opponents, make them travel across time zones and play in a Canadian winter. Maybe the game will be in snow. Oh, man. That'd be a tough one to want to go to. Southgate hates you. He keeps buying Sancho, saying he's scoring in the Bundesliga doesn't matter. Now he calls up tomorrow. Yeah, Southgate can piss off. Canadian players aren't used to colder weather either, though, to be honest. Sort of a fair point. I mean, unless you play in some of the MLS players obviously would be. I don't know how many MLS players will be in the starting squad. I do think, the ones I just came up with, if you count Crépeau, he would be one. Aleister Johnson, Miller, Larea, maybe K. So there could be half the squad in there, but not that it matters that much. I think Tomori doesn't get into the squad as often because we have a lot of decent defenders. Our manager is English, team bias. I hope he does well. He's been good for Milan. Yeah, I felt like he was on the outs when he moved on from the Prem, but I guess I was wrong. And he got the call up, and he's going to probably get capped, and there goes any chance we ever had. David to Liverpool doesn't seem likely. They need a midfielder. Yeah, with Jota and Firmino, if one of them end up moving on, I didn't really see it either. I felt like going to the Prem, like I said, a team like Wolverhampton, a team like Leeds. I was kind of thinking Everton, but they have Calvert-Lewin. I was kind of thinking a team like that may go for a run for him, but arguably with those teams, I'd prefer him at Lille, to be honest, or maybe head to the Bundesliga, find a better team over there. Lille's in a bit of financial crunch, and I think at one point, probably next summer, he will eventually move on. Just don't got to Norwich. Yeah. Oh, I forgot about Edmonton matches. It's going to be hard because the Canadian players will be overall more used to colder climates than the Mexican players. Yeah. I'm curious to see how different it will be doing games there than they were with the weather and being in Edmonton. It is going to be exciting to see, but it'll also be pretty unique, pretty fun as well. And I haven't even mentioned ZBG. Zachary Bell-Gerard is going to be another cool one. I wonder how many minutes he may pick up. The wingback role is kind of full right now. Like I said, if you push Buchanan up, you push Davies up, you could always throw Larea to the left-hand side if you don't want Adekubi playing all 3 matches, and then ZBG could go to the right wing-back, Larea at left wing-back, or Adekubi. So there could be a potential for him to come in. I think he'll be coming in as a sub as well. But I don't know, man. There's a lot to take away from this team, and I'm honestly pretty excited for it. I think Edmonton will have a better attendance too. That's interesting. That's interesting that you think that. I don't know. I don't know. I think the rest of the games should be in Edmonton or Vancouver. Toronto has too many people that support other teams before Canada, and it showed its attendance issues. That's a fair point. It's a fair point. And I agree. And I know it's maybe not a big thing, but it is, man. This is World Cup qualifiers. This is the closest this Canadian men's national team has been for a long time to qualifying for the World Cup. Why in our own home stadium do we have that many fans from other countries? So I get that. It is something that the U.S. has had to deal with a lot too. Playing closer to the border, getting them when they take on Mexico. But I do definitely agree on that point. It's an interesting point, but I agree if the games were in Vancouver or Edmonton, there's a chance that there'll be a lot more, or a lot bigger of a division between the Canadian men's national team fans and our opponents' fans. Would Arfield start in our midfield? Yeah, absolutely he would. I would start him. It's interesting seeing a player come back, but he's been with the team for a long time. He probably knows what is expected. I just think there's a bit of the behind the scenes issues going on, and it doesn't seem like he's trusted enough to get brought back in. maybe he's not that interested, heads on into it. There's a lot of different things that go around it, but if he was committing and he was ready and he did get brought in my eyes, he would start because he is at that level that he could come in here and be a difference maker, especially aside Eustachio if Hutch can't play every game. But if Arfield was healthy and Hutch was healthy as well, I mean, it would be really up to use that three-man midfield, having Eustachio, Hutch, and Arfield in there. So we don't have that issue because, like I said, I have a feeling we'll probably go with the three frontmen with the two-man midfield. But yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. You think Arfield will jump right into this team if everything was good behind the scenes and he was ready to commit and start playing? I think heavy subs, especially in Mexico with the altitude. Yep, I agree with that. Josh, did you see the newest video on BBB channel? Bellingham is the best host ever. He could host a TV show. I did not see it, man. I'll have to give it a watch. Bellingham is a beauty, though. Got snubbed from the English squad again, but I mean, I'll take it. Get a little bit of rest for our lad there, but yeah, guys. So that is the squad going into the 3 matches for the World Cup qualifiers. I'm expecting, like I said, to get a 4 to 6 points from this window, and I think if we go winless is when a little bit of panic may set in. But I'm really hoping Jamaica just pisses it away like they've been doing, man. I really, really hope that they do, because I think this group of guys together, with just the passion that they have, the excitement that's there, I think that there's enough in there to hopefully get those 4 to 6 points, and let's hopefully see. Like, it's not always easy putting players back in. I mean, Jimenez has been out for a long time. You're always gonna probably try to look at the brighter side, but in all honesty, Jimenez and Lozano make Mexico so much more dangerous, and it's in the Azteca, so it's not an easy match. But regardless, we're always gonna hold hopes for a surprise and that they have an off match, and we can maybe take something from it. I don't think that we can use the first window as a measuring stick for Jamaica. It's hard, James, because you do make a fair point, but they're like talking with JD. There's so much things going on behind the scenes. Not only, I mean, I don't want to get into all the details of the things going behind the scenes. JD said a lot of it on our CONCACAF Council on Pete's channel, but just things that you guys can kind of understand as well. As, I mean, picture like the I don't even know how to describe it. There's a disconnect on so many different levels with the Jamaican team that basically they don't have a starting squad that they know will start 2-3 matches. And it affects. Imagine being told that you can only use Davies 1 game, and it will be like that for who knows how long. There's a lot of protection of players. There's a little bit of corruption going on behind the scenes, and it's making it very challenging. On top of the fact that I don't think their manager is doing a great job utilizing this team. The balance in this team is way off. It's a big hit or miss team with Premier League level players, then USL level players. But I do agree, James, seeing how poorly they played in the last window, I don't think it'd be totally unrealistic to see them taking a step further and becoming better. And obviously that's not good for us. But it'll be an interesting game, man. It really will. You should have a call-in show on Twitter Space. Would love to discuss Canada with like-minded individuals here. It's not a bad idea. I could take that to Twitter. I could maybe utilize StreamYard here a little bit more, maybe after the games or before the games, get people to call in. I've always tried to utilize that, but I've just never been able to do it. But yeah, I see a lot of other channels doing it. Just having a simple call-in, get you on here for 5 or so minutes talking about the game, and you'll put something in my arsenal. I will look into that. I want 6 points. My heart wants 7. We have medal to watch. Mexico, but Chucky, Raul Jimenez being back are major factors. They are, man. They are, and they're difference makers. And you see it in CONCACAF. At the CONCACAF level, having someone like Raul Jimenez, who the Raul Jimenez before the injury was a game changer. He really was. And seeing him score his first goal back with Wolverhampton was, for any neutral out there, was pretty emotional. And he had a really serious injury, and it's not easy to come back from. So we don't still know what Raul Jimenez is going to be like coming back into the fold in Mexico. But if he's anywhere near to the kind of player he was before, it's going to be a little nerve-wracking. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And Chucky Lozano is a player who I watch a lot at Napoli. He's a great player. again, he's a very high quality player, one of CONCACAF's best. And if those two can find form, and in my opinion, Raul Jimenez makes Chucky Lozano a much better player. Jimenez is so good at dropping deep, picking up the ball, finding and creating space for his wingers, and it's something that Mori wasn't able to replicate, which is a little bit of why I think that they struggled so much. So it'll be interesting. I mean, I'm glad to see Raul Jimenez back after that serious injury, but I really hope he can't figure out a way to make it work with the Mexican national team. I wonder if the altitude conditions will have a big effect in Mexico. Those are always CONCACAF issues, and it's so funny hearing people talk about that because some people just don't get how big of a deal it actually has on the players, and it does. Home advantage in CONCACAF, especially with Central American teams, I mean, in the Azteca as well, there's a reason it's so hard to go there and pick up points. It's why, like, listening to Hurt Gomez talking about the U.S. men's national team going, and he said a good window would be 5 points. And everyone's like, are you crazy? 5 points for the U.S. men's national team? They should be winning all 9. And he's like, it's not realistic, man. You don't know what it's like to go to these kind of places, these atmospheres, these different altitudes. It's not easy to put together a run of performances, and it's why the U.S. did indeed only take 5 points. But yeah, man, I do think that those conditions have a big factor in these qualifications. Jamaica is rough. It's a case study, but they are a team that could wake up and bury 5 on you. Hope it's not against us. That is a fair point. It is, and I'm under the assumption and under the hope that they just won't figure it out. That it's just such a mess right now that they're just going to hopefully realize this qualifying window ain't for us. This World Cup qualifier isn't going to happen, and we take advantage of it. That we didn't awake a sleeping giant. So I'm hoping, and I just think there's a lot there that's showing that they haven't turned a corner anytime soon. But it'll be a big test against us, and I don't think any of these games are up for grabs. Or, well, every single game is up for grabs. I don't think any of them are guaranteed points. I don't know where we're getting points from. It was similar looking at the last window. I mean, we picked up a point from the U.S. in the U.S. Very hard to do. The States lost points to us, but picked up a big win against Honduras. This is a wild, wild window, and I bet you there's going to be some crazy results. So I'm excited. I hope you guys will sit back and are excited to do it. But I'm going to wrap up the stream for there today, guys. So I hope you guys did enjoy. Actually, I'm going to look at James. Will you be doing, this is the last comment of the day from James, will you be doing streams for the U20 Canadian World Cup qualifiers next year? I haven't decided. There's a good possibility I will. I'll definitely look into it. But yeah, why not? I like watching some of the younger players coming up and looking at the next Tajon Buchanans and players like that. So there's probably a pretty solid chance I will. But yeah, because you just mentioned that, I will definitely go look into it and see what is there. But I appreciate you guys tuning in today. Pretty happy with the roster, man. And anything to start talking some Canadian men's national content again, it makes me excited. I will be doing watch-alongs for all 3 games. And we'll be doing our 5 takeaways, the series that we do right after the games. And maybe just throughout the day, just try to get live as much as I can throughout this window. There's a lot to talk about. We'll definitely probably have Tactical Manager, and maybe we'll definitely have JD on because we're taking on Jamaica. So it should be a lot of fun, guys. So I appreciate you guys tuning in today. Be sure to drop a like on the stream on your way out. Drop a sub if you guys are just tuning in, and hopefully we'll see you guys for the match watch along as when we take on Mexico. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Take care, and we'll see you guys soon.